that in fact she might be a lot more liberal than people realize.
Right, and these documents have her squarely within mainstream liberal thought. She's worried about the conservative Supreme Court undoing rulings that would give a woman a right to an abortion. She's worried about gun rights, saying she's not sympathetic to an individual's right to own a handgun. She's concerned about some conservative rulings scaling back rights of criminals. That's basic mainstream liberal thought. But the White House's reaction to this, to these revelations, I think has been astonishing, and it goes, I think, to kind of the week that they've had. Their reaction has been to push back so strongly on allegations, as they would put it, that she's a liberal. Like there's something wrong with that. Like it's a smear to say their nominee is a liberal. And I think that suggests one of two things. Number one, they're either so weakened right now politically, the president's numbers are in the tank, that they just do not want to fight, so they're trying to portray her as something other than what she is. Or number two, they think Americans don't want a liberal justice and maybe are more sympathetic to conservative outlook on the law. Regardless, I mean, whatever one it is, and it's one of the two, they're doing Elena Kagan an enormous disservice. And it's also insulting to Justices Breyer and Ginsburg, who've written eloquently and passionately about why a liberal interpretation of the Constitution is the right way to go. It is a dangerous game this White House is playing. They're putting enormous pressure on Elena Kagan, who, as you said, is qualified. She's an intellectual superstar. They're putting pressure on her to portray herself in these hearings as something other than what she is. They're thinking short-term politically and not long-term for the court and the law and liberal judicial philosophy.
We should point out that these memos that you unearthed are memos that she wrote when she was a young clerk for Thurgood Marshall, who, of course, was a liberal lion. And all of this is now coming out. Now, during her confirmation for Solicitor General, she talked about her views in those days as saying, look, I was a pipsqueak. I was just a kid, basically, and I was working for this liberal icon. I suppose that is the defense that the White House is going to take. But this is, at the least, is going to give Republicans something to ask a lot of questions
Oh,
about.
Absolutely. I mean, these hearings have now gotten much more interesting than a lot of people thought they were going to be going into the summer when it was going to be a yawn. Republicans have a lot. She's taken on every social issue in these documents, and there's more to come. We're going to get another 100,000 or so documents from the Clinton Library when she worked there as a young lawyer. But the suggestion that somehow a smear to call her a liberal is just baffling to me.